Good morning, it's Harvey Jackson. There's a few different items I'm going to cover. There's no big news on the escalation of the Iran-Israel war. Seems like the ceasefire is holding, and hence the market is not doing so well. Brazil farmers to reap record second corn crop. Um, it, AgriConsult here is pointing out that there's going to be a bigger crop, and I borrowed this from Standard Grain. Just a visual of a bar chart, just looking at that second crop corn is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger every year. Now is they're taking a lot of the share of the corn that was uh, U.S. bought in the past. Now it's Brazilian bought, but there's some problems with this, and you see this uh, Brazilian dollar, and again, it's still we've seen quite fluctuation, but this trend right now, we're seeing this increase in the uh, or the Brazilian dollar losing ground against the U.S. So it's making the U.S. Uh, relatively cheap, and there's been some big flash sales last couple of days, and I think this definitely could be helping it, and there's supplies available. And the Brazilian farmer is kind of holding out on not making some sales because their dollar keeps on sliding. Oil prices continued to slide. That's just because the Strait of uh, is not in any danger of getting shut down. Um, and here I've talked about Brazil a couple different times here, and Brazil is getting in favor for some other countries as well. Manitoba Ag came out with a report, and what I want to point out is just that wheat quality, and it's good to excellent is pretty high. And I hate ratings like this, but it is a visual, and the visual is actually good. And even the how this stage is moving on as well. Like the plants are growing really quite quick, even though it hasn't been super hot, but uh, the plants are growing and advancing really fast. Like there's some flowering already in the canola in Manitoba. So let's just have a quick look at the weather. There's this heat in the U.S. is actually going to be pretty. It could be fatal in a lot of areas as well. And here's your 7-day total precipitation forecast. There's rain in here, so the heat and the rain. I would expect it's not going to have as big an impact. What Eric Snodgrass from Ag X is actually talking about some heat in Europe here too for next week. Here's your heat indexes, and here's the main title that I'm talking about is drought, and you can see that the major growing areas are not necessarily in drought, but the definitely northern area of the prairies are definitely in some drought. Manitoba is as well. So this is the latest that I found for the drought index. You can see that as of the 23rd of June, there's still some drought in some areas and actually excess in others as well. And you can see that even on the percent of normal soil moisture, somewhat droughty in Manitoba, but the crops have gotten a lot of rain just in time, and sometimes just in time is actually pretty good. But if there's going to be any area of concern, you probably point out these kind of areas here. Total soil moisture, again, those same two areas, but it looks like more of Manitoba has actually got enough. So here we're talking about normal precipitation. We're way in the brown. Manitoba tends to get a little bit more moisture, and you can see that we're actually in a deficit in most areas. Accumulated rainfall. I'm going to say some parts of Saskatchewan would love to see these kind of numbers, especially when you're talking, in those areas, and there's some in that. Soil moisture, and I've commented to the Department of Ag that they actually have weather stations, dots everywhere where, and I don't, they need to smooth this out. You can see where the weather stations are, and their dots are there, and they have everything else good around it. I think they can figure it out. The 0 to 120 centimeter soil moisture is actually probably a little bit easier to look at, but you can see that there's still okay moisture, at least when you get down anyway. And here's your growing degree days. I was kind of surprised when I saw this. Like we're in the higher percentiles, which I wouldn't have thought. I would have thought it would have been a little bit more delayed than that. I'm just going to show you a couple different weather models. It's going to take us all the way out to the end of next week. Same thing with the GFS, and the artificial intelligence is actually showing some, maybe a little bit more on the GFS in some pockets as well. There's like, you got huge amounts of rain there. Your soil temperature anomalies. So this is actually what Eric Snodgrass was kind of talking about on that first or third slide there. You've got the heat kind of getting built into Europe, and where it's going to dissipate in western or in the eastern U.S. plains there. Moisture, really nothing to point out other than it looks like some of the corn belt is going to get more. I have to adjust these, but corn or canola is down a little wee bit. European rapeseed was up. Soybean oil is basically flat. West Texas, that's the wrong month there, but it's down a little bit as well. Soybeans slightly down as well, and your spring wheat is up, and all the other wheats are basically down. And the Canadian dollar is down a little wee bit. So just have a look at it on the chart. It looks like a short-term moving average is maybe what's holding the this downward momentum that we're seeing, which is okay, I guess. If you're undersold, still look at getting a little bit more sold for the fall in these areas. I'd like to see it pull back up, but with the weather maps I just showed, it doesn't look as threatening as it could be. And we could still get drought, that is for certain. The European rapeseed got that gap and kind of holding in that middle of that range. Here's your soybean oil, and short-term moving average seems to be maybe holding it. And here we are with soybeans, and that leg down definitely puts it into this bottom end of this channel for sure. Crude oil, yeah, so big pullback, 63 a barrel. Will it get down into these areas? It already looks like that war premium is all off now. Canadian dollar, it's kind of chopping around here, but when I look at the next chart here, we're still in the middle of this upward channel. Wheat, spring wheat, green today, and still looks like it's supported into an upward channel as of right now. Your Kansas wheat, still not making lower lows on this upward channel either, and same with the Chicago. But here you look at the corn, and that's just devastating as far as I can tell. There's a StatsCan planted acreage report coming out now. We'll have to see what that whether we're getting any numbers here soon, and then the USDA acreage report is going to be coming out next Monday as well.